So you know this one's good. I ain't even took my shower yet. I just got home from work. I'm gonna talk about California, the wildfires, and just other events that are going on in California right now. I used to drive trucks over the road. I've done that for about 4 or 5 years of my life, just about. Broken up. Um, Been every state in the country. Every state. I can say probably California and Vermont are some of the best states, and probably the only ones I would want to, maybe one day return to as a tourist. Sometimes you get a chance to. I've seen the Grand Canyon, took pictures of the Grand Canyon. Um, you know, I was a tourist, and I meet a lot of people. It's not as common as you think. A lot of guys don't care about that. It's just drive, truck stop, truck stop. They go to Las Vegas, they go to the truck stop. They ain't. And I never went gambling. I never drunk, never done drugs. Well, smoke weed, but I never, done nothing like that. But I don't know. Um, Seeing the wildfires and seeing the trials and tribulations they're going through right now, it really hurts me. Because when I went to Cali, everybody I met was my friend. I can say Los Angeles, you got some mentally ill people there. But you can say that with any major city. And I don't look at the extreme poverty in California as saying anything about the left. What Seeing that reminded me of is just the extremes of capitalism. Because it's the same thing in Miami. It's a lot of places like that. Um, to me, that kind of shows you that California is a higher standard of living. Like the stuff, the stuff they won't allow as far as foods. They put a lot of flame retardants in a lot of products. A lot of that. A lot of flame retardants. Other things they do. It's almost like Europe, that they set the standard for a lot of things to do with human health. And I thought that was weird when I was a kid, and now it's kind of like, yeah, California to me is a very special place that will live on in my heart, even if it stopped being a state tomorrow. California is a place for new ideas. So it's an idea of what mankind could be, and of what just a better society, a more progressive society in every way. It's got its problems like anywhere else, but just to me, the idea of California is just like. There's a movie I don't know what it's called. De Niro's in it. They're like thieves or something, and he's like, Toronto, Canada is a place. Like he's like, don't do nothing there. That's just a place to live. It's not a place to steal. That to me is actually about California. It's a very special place with some very special people, very unique people. And I took criminal justice, studied the law. There's nothing in the South worth dying for. Like, I don't mean to be dark or negative, because that's not the intention here. I'm not trying to do that. But I do believe to be a police officer, you have to be willing to die. And I think that these cops, like Carrick shooting Jonathan Ferrell 13 times. He shot him 10 times, shooting him 10 times for running at him. Amber Geiger shooting Bolton John, 5 times or something in his apartment. These are cops that are afraid. Like I had a dude break in my house years ago when I was with Veronica, my apartment, and my gun never left holster. Because I could tell like he wasn't a threat. He wasn't like a threat. And I'm not a police officer, but I used to be really good. I used to shoot on my back, on my side, weekend, all kind of stuff. It'd be various you can think of with a gun I fired. Just all kind of like RoboCop. Not nothing. I'm just joking, but police have to do mandated training, DT, defensive tactics, all that stuff. It's another story there. So it's hard for me to understand. I look at these videos and I'm like, my little course on criminal justice, I know better than that. It's like, how did you? And then you hear about the Charlotte police woman that shot a cop in the back at a raid. I mean, I just feel like if you're a police officer, you know, I was taught that a police officer's job isn't just upholding the law. It's creating confidence in the community that they serve and in the laws that they uphold and, you know, in the community represent. That's what that means. That's what that badge means. It isn't just about carrying a gun and being an asshole to people. It's about creating confidence. And I've met good cops on the road, and I've met some really bad cops. And I think that I'll just say you have cops out here who are scared, and that's how you have cases like the brother that got shot 7 times in the back. It's the cops that are scared. You know, they're scared, and they shouldn't be out here. To me, if to be a police officer, when they talk about like the warrior training and how maybe they shouldn't have that, you know, I just feel as though you have to be willing to die for your community, and I think that there's nothing worth dying for in the South. The South is full of a bunch of reactionary bigots who are trying to maintain the ideals of a system that died a long time ago and that wasn't even that good for their own people, poor working class whites. Like West Virginia, you know, and the coal miners and Blair Mountain and all that. I mean, they have a history with the gun thugs. You would think they would understand what happens when you have these private police, private securities that get so big, but there's no connection to the past. And conservatives don't have to connect with the past. They just have to, the Southern strategy, run around here. Oh, the blacks are taking over, fear of a black planet. The gays are taking over, this Southern strategy. And that's how Trump can run for office, not putting forward policy. The RNC, not putting forward policy, just talking about dishwashers and toilets and energy saving light bulbs, and this is what, because it's not about policy or making the world a better place. It's about Southern strategy. These black people are coming to take your world from you. These gays are doing this. These Jews are doing that. That's, you know, it's positive hate. And I just realized that you want to die for those people, for reactionary bigots who hate you. It doesn't matter what you do as a cop. They hate you. And I know that when I do my job out here. I mean, people hate me. I know that. I'm not trying to pretend or play like they're my friends or not. You know, I just realized California, you know, my heart goes out to them, and it bothers me. Like, it's like the Europeans. I'm big into the European stuff, their music, their news, and all that. It's just not American. I'm not an American, but California is a place that I still hold in my heart. You know, I met some really great people out there. Hope I could go back one day. I used to always say when I was on the road that going out there was like, when I'm in the South, I feel like I'm aging, like I'm getting older, and like there is like gets me back to zero. Just, I don't know how to explain it to you. Just driving through the state, not even getting to do stuff I usually do, stopping and doing stuff, is just, it just bothers me. You know, my heart goes out to them. You know, and I look at them having the public banking in California, you know, and getting their money out of Citibank and all that, because those folks think like I do, which is that we're living in an empire, and the only way to stop the wars and stop the empire from doing what it does is to disinvest and take your money out of that empire as much as possible. It's their money, but you know what I mean. Public banking is one way to do that, and it's a very progressive place. I mean, like, I'm a socialist. I am not a liberal. I'm not one of these people out here who are Democrats who just want the status quo. Like, no, I didn't like Hillary Clinton. I can't say if I had a time machine I would vote for her again. I can't. I said it before. I don't think she would have been a better president. I think that people get caught up in the iconography and the images of fascism that Trump presents on a regular basis. Trump is a white supremacist fascist, but Hillary Clinton is one too. She's more of a transnational one though, whereas Trump was just a racist and a fascist. You know, he's playing to the country club boys, to the bumpkins. that, the dishwashers and toilets. Like, this is, I know what Trump is. Come on, man. That's why I don't get mad. Why I deal with these Mexicans trying to steal my phone, my pens, and getting them in my face and all that. I don't, in the pandemic, getting all up on my steps, and I'm like, I don't get mad at them. I don't. I'm dealing with people who are uneducated and are ignorant, and this is what you get. It isn't even like with these people I deal with don't wear masks. Like, I don't think they understand the danger of the pandemic. I don't hate them for that. I recognize they the white man's nigga. That's all they are. They today's nigga. I see what I know what Trump is doing. He's using them as something to hate. That's what Hitler did. I get it. I'm not a fool. Even though I'm not fighting for them in any way. Nope. Not a cent. Not a dime. But I don't hate them. I'm not doing nothing to hurt them. I'm not going to do anything to hurt them at all. I knew before the pandemic that Border Patrol and all that are not my friends. Even if a Mexican pissed me off, and I could call Border Patrol right now, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't do it. Like, to me, Border Patrol is like in was it RoboCop 3? The raid teams where they had these guys in khakis and like gray uniform. They would go in and remove people from these areas so they could gentrify the areas. They're moving people out of their homes. That's to me what Border Patrol is. Like, they're something different than law enforcement, and we know that, especially now. But they're like, I can say that Trump sending them out there was another short-sighted thing of a president playing checkers. To me, the world seeing Border Patrol out there in camouflage uniforms and all that, they need to be defunded too. And I would have said it before they did what they did, but they went out, showed their asses, and it's like if you had a racist policeman on your police force, and I've been telling everybody about him, and people are like, yeah, whatever. And he goes to a black church and he's like, you fucking niggers. Like, you just made my case for me. You made my case to people who aren't even political, who don't even follow this shit. You brought that individual to them. You brought them out here. Not me. You did it. And I could just sit back and be like, yo, told you. I told you what they were. Do you need more evidence? These are goons. Fucking Gestapo. This is a it's a Gestapo force running around with ski masks on, kidnapping people, and putting them in unmarked vehicles. Like, this is a Gestapo force. They are not accountable to us whatsoever. I said this earlier today that I like to see Republicans acting in bad faith, and what I mean by that is like Trump shutting the government down because he couldn't get his wall. Good. Now we can shut the country down for climate change. Awesome. He set a precedent. Good. We can use that now. And can't nobody say that, because we can say, look, we believe climate change is real and we have science to back that up. He couldn't get his wall. He had no science to back that up. That was just based upon how he felt. He shut this country down for 30 days. Government down for 30 days. So do the same thing. Can you imagine being a white person, a white man, and hearing the phrase Black Lives Matter and feeling just this rage rise up in you? I mean, me, John, we go out in the country. I was in Salisbury today, and we run out and see Confederate flags and Trump signs. And when I was doing gas, I used to see in Denver, North Carolina, big Trump flags. Like, I seen a Trump flag hanging from this guy's Jeep. Yeah. And they all, like, when you look at them, they all have this look of, like, it's not a look of joy. It's a look of, like, I'm getting back. Like, this is revenge. Like, they're not happy. They're not like, yes, I believe in Ron Paul because I believe Ron Paul made the country a better place. That's how I felt when I was conservative. No, they're like, we're getting back at the blacks. We're in control now. Yeah, this is what they say. When Rudy Giuliani was elected mayor, this is Rudy time. Yep, it's Rudy time. Put you blacks back in place. Yeah, that's what At no point did I ever look at that and feel like, damn, like I gotta go lose my job and go to jail because of that. Like, that's what gets me about white people is that as a black man, you have to face signs of cruelty on a regular basis, and you can't react to each one of them. And for white people, like jumping at black, like it just reminds you that we're not living in the same world, same reality they are. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because I see Trump flags all the time. But imagine that being a white person, seeing, something painted a mural to Black Lives Matter, and you go and you spend your money to get paint, and you come back on your own time to cover it. Like, imagine that. Like imagine that. Just hearing Black Lives, like even before the pandemic, even before all this stuff happened. Imagine that. Like, just you feeling this. I have to do this. Like, that kills me, As a woman, she set up this Blue Lives Matter mural, and she was like, well, they're doing all this. And the one thing she was talking about, they had got permission to do it, and she hadn't got permission to do it. She just did it. And I'm just like, facts don't matter to them. Never did, never will. Facts don't matter to those people. But it just, like I said, just got me like, wow, like, this is really what we're looking at. This is really, like, this is real. Imagine that rage. Well, actually, to me, once again, it's just conservatives acting in bad faith, violating breaking their own rules. I love it. Because, hey, they're the ones that believe in these rules anyway. So, go ahead. When you destroy this rule, now I got a precedent where I can destroy it. I love it. Keep doing your voter suppression. Keep doing it. I love it. I love this stuff. Because, I just realized that for Republicans, like, this is all rear guard action, last minute checkers moves. All of this. None of like this speech about dishwashers. None of this has any long-term value. Like when Obama talked about Obamacare and all that, that's long-term stuff. That's long-term policy in a reasonable society. Dishwashers are not. Shithole countries are not. This is a white man who's out of touch with reality, who's president. Like when Trump was talking about the policeman shooting the brother in the back 7 times, he's like, why, you have to do that? You could have wrestled him. And then Trump compares police brutality and police murder to a golf game. And Laura Ingram's trying to catch up. And that's the thing with me is that, like, everything Trump does, he goes on Fox and it's all softball stuff. And they're trying to guide the conversation. Like, it's just like, you're a joke. You're a fucking joke. And you need these people to protect you. Because if you know what I mean? Like, it's a joke. You're good with fascists. That's it. You're a joke. And when he did that, and she's like, oh, because you're not comparing golf to police brutality. That's exactly what he was doing. And why would you expect any better? This is what Trump does. What did he say? They're not my voters. Does that surprise you? It's not something new. He didn't just start doing this. He's been doing this. And it just... I guess that blows my mind. People could be surprised by that kind of behavior and these kind of remarks. Trump has this in common with black people, or even working class people, and comments like that just show that. It's just. I think it's interesting. See the post. They make everything about abortion, but they won't acknowledge stuff like this. Even if you think that shooting was completely 110% legal, legitimate, and lawful, there have been cases of police brutality. And for the United States president holding the highest office in the land to compare police murder, police brutality, unlawful police conduct to a golf game. It cheapens black lives. It further shows you how far out of touch with reality this administration really is, and how his voters are as well. I told you, I go to work. I know these guys aren't from Charlotte. You can just tell. And all of them have guns. Nobody wears masks. And it's just, you realize, like, this is how black people get killed. You're dealing with people who, like Alex Jones is like, well, this shows you diversity, that black people living in the city can't get along with white people. That's not really true, because these guys aren't from these cities. These cops aren't from these. They don't live in these cities. That's clear. Clear, these cops don't live in these cops. Don't live in these cities. They have no connection to these cities. They have no connection to people in these cities. And that's not diversity. Someone who lives 100 miles away, who lives 30 miles away from their district, or probably an hour from their district, killing a black man for running away from them, walking away from them, it's not diversity. I know Alex Jones wants to make this all about politics and the liberal lefty. I understand. I'm not doing time with that. But he buries the lead. Why do you have these cops working in these areas who don't even live in the cities they serve? I didn't say live in the district. Don't even live in the city. Why is that? Maybe these cops are trigger happy. Thought about that. Maybe they're scared. Thought about that. Like I said, I'm always armed when I'm at work, and I just realized that I'm working and dealing with people that aren't even in the same universe as I am. Like I told you about Trump with Charlottesville, that I kept waiting for Trump to make a strong statement against violence and white supremacist activity. And I didn't. I wasn't a Republican. I was libertarian. But I understand now that Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham could have never pressured Trump to do anything or say anything substantial about Charlottesville, because that's not what Republican Party is anymore. Like that, they haven't been that way for a long. That's not what they are. They're not trying to be legitimate to the average person, which is good. They're not trying to be legitimate, not trying to be an actual political party that's got integrity. Democratic Party isn't either, but them bringing the white people to the RNC that pulled guns on protesters. This is what I expect. This is more politics of cruelty, and this is more ideologue stuff. This is extreme right stuff, and it shows you where the Republican Party has gone. I mean, I love it they're clinging to Trump, and not having a policy is clinging. I love it, because when Trump's gone, Republican Party's in a lot of trouble. It's like you going somewhere with a bunch of bullies and stuff, and you got your big brother with you. When your big brother leaves, you're getting your ass kicked. Peace.